Hi, in this unit, we're talking about how to set up for a successful live stream. So the number one thing you can do to ensure that you have a successful live stream is to make sure that you have a solid internet connection. Now, I see a lot of misinformation on this subject. Often what will happen is someone will try to do a live stream and have a bad experience. They'll say the connection's grainy, or they were breaking up, or they're actually losing connection. And then the response will be like, oh, your internet's probably not fast enough. Then they'll go and check their internet speed on something like speedtest.net and find that they actually have a very fast internet connection. And with something like StreamYard, you don't need that fast of an internet connection. You only need a few megs up and down, which most people have. The culprit is usually the quality of the internet connection. So if possible, you want to avoid using Wi-Fi and instead plug directly into your router with a Cat5 cable. Because you might have the fastest internet ever. If you're on a bad connection, such as like a Wi-Fi connection where you're not close to your router, not all the information is going to get to your router, which is going to lead to a really bad streaming experience where it's grainy, you're breaking up, and things like that. So make sure you have a quality internet connection, and that's generally the issue. Sometimes it is speed. Not very often, but sometimes it is. You just really do not have a very fast internet, or there's a lot of people using the same internet connection. And in that case, you might want to look into upgrading your internet. Another common thing I see people run into, well, it's not that common. It's only every once in a while, but it's echo. They have an echo issue where they're streaming and they're hearing themselves twice, or their guest has an echo issue. And the best way to avoid this entirely, which I'm not actually doing right now, is to wear headphones. Usually you won't have to do this because StreamYard does automatically cancel out echo, but it can be a problem with people that have their speakers on really loud and their mic close to the speaker. So if you are experiencing echo, maybe try turning down your speakers or having your guest turn down their speakers or move the microphone farther away from the speakers. And then to avoid it entirely, instead of doing that, you can always just put in headphones. Now let's talk a bit about equipment. So the nice thing about StreamYard compared to downloadable programs is you do not need to have a very powerful computer at all, because StreamYard is a streaming service. So that means that the StreamYard computers do most of the work for you, and you can have a $300 Chromebook and still have a great streaming experience. With StreamYard, the most important things are your equipment and your internet connection. So you can have a very long conversation about the best equipment possible. I like to keep things simple. Right now, I'm using a Logitech C920. I think the new version of that is the C922, and I'm using a Yeti microphone, and I'm very happy with this setup. This is the type of thing that I would just come up with a basic setup that is good enough, and you can always improve it later. I think the important thing is to just start streaming. Also, browser. For the best experience possible, you'll want to use the Chrome browser. There are other browsers that work, but I always recommend that you use Chrome. Lighting. So lighting also goes a long way as well. I'll often see someone has a really nice camera, but if you're in a dimly lit room, it doesn't matter, right? You can have a pretty mediocre camera if you've got good lighting, which I'm not a lighting expert. I just make sure I've got a light source in front of me. That'll go a long way. Another important note is to make sure you close other applications while you're streaming. So you'll want to make sure, unless you really know what you're doing, you'll want to make sure that you only have StreamYard open while you're streaming. Because if you have other programs open like Facebook or YouTube, it'll use more of your bandwidth or internet, which will degrade the quality of your stream. And then also, if you don't mute the stream, you'll hear reverb because live streams on Facebook and YouTube are always delayed a bit, which will be a really bad experience for you. So you'll want to make sure you have everything closed, just have StreamYard open. The comments will come in. You only need to have StreamYard open, and you'll be able to engage with your viewers right from StreamYard. And our final note is relax. It's a live stream, right? People don't expect you to be perfect. Just try to make sure you set yourself up for success, like we just talked about. Make sure you've got a good internet connection, just basic equipment, some good lighting, and just StreamYard open, maybe headphones. And I think you'll be set up for a solid live stream. Thanks.